Dzień dobry Państwu. Nazywam
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Anna Kowalik, and I perform the function of the chairman of the supervisory board of PGE, Grupa Energetyczna, and I will open today's general meeting of welcome all the participants, the representatives of the supervisory board, and also the members of the management board of the president, Mr. Dombrowski, and also all of you, including also our technical assistants for voting system. So we start with the appointment of the chairman of today's meeting, and of Unicom company to give just a short briefing on how to vote. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You received a tablet and under the button your data you can see how many shares you hold and who you represent, and the vote is very simple. When it is announced, you will see on the tablet the title of the vote and also 3 decision buttons, and you have to choose one of the decisions, and then you will be moved to the next screen, and there will be the information that, let's say, about your decision, and then you have to confirm your decision. And if you've made a mistake on the first screen, so then you can come back to the first screen from the second screen with return button. So please follow the information on the tablet. So if you have any technical questions, I am at your assistance. Thank you very much indeed. So we move to point regarding the election of the chairperson of the general meeting, and taking the liberty of this attribute that I have opened today's general meeting of shareholders, I would like to propose my candidacy to chair today's general meeting, and I am also a proxy today of the shareholder, the State Treasury, and also Silesia Financial Company. I would like to ask you for further candidates, if you have any. No, I can't see and I cannot hear. So, with your permission, I propose myself as a candidate for chairing this meeting, and I accept this nomination. So, I would like now to show you the draft resolution on the screen. So, you can see the draft resolution. Are there any comments on such worded resolution? I open secret vote on the appointment of the chairperson for today's meeting. So if the proxies need more time for a vote, so please tell me and I will allocate more time. Has everybody voted their vote? I understand that yes. So now I will read the result of this vote. So I read the results. So there were 1,508,710,549 valid votes from 1,508,710,549 shares, which represents 75 So this is 75.34% of the share capital of the company. For yes, 1,508,710,349, no votes against, and 100 abstentions. So I would like to confirm that this resolution has been adopted. Now I would like to thank you for this appointment, and now we move to the further points on our agenda. So I am signing now the attendance list. So please, I need a moment because this list is quite long.
Proszę Państwa, lista została...
Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance list has been signed, and I would like to confirm, on the basis of the produced documents, that today's general meeting of shareholders was convened properly in accordance with the legal provisions. The announcement was displayed on the company's website on the 28th of May 2020, and the current report 14/2020 on the announcement on the calling of this meeting was published on the same day in the manner that is prescribed for passing the current information in accordance with the Act on the Public Offer and introducing the financial instruments into the public trading system. On the 5th of June 2020, the company, by this report 16/2020, transmitted information on the change of the agenda of the company that is convened for the 26th of June 2020, and the change is that one item is added to the agenda. The point about adopting resolutions regarding the changes in the statute of the company. I would like also to declare that at this meeting we have 346 shareholders present, holding in total 1,408,710,449 shares, entitling the same number of votes, and the capital represented at this meeting is 75.34% of the entire share capital of the company. Therefore, today's general meeting of shareholders is convened properly and is capable of adopting binding resolutions. So now we move to point regarding the acceptance of the agenda in the form of the resolution. So I would like to agree with you that all the documents required for today's meeting were in accordance with the legal provisions published on the company's website. The draft resolutions, the reports, the management board reports, supervisory board reports. Therefore, I would like to ask you for letting me not read the resolutions, because it will make the whole procedure simpler and smoother. Are there any objections to this type of procedure? No, I can't see any objections, so thank you very much for allowing me not to read the content of the resolution. So we have the draft resolution on the adoption of the agenda. We have 14 points. Are there any comments to this draft? If not, Ladies and gentlemen, I open the vote on the adoption of the agenda. Of course, this is an open vote on the adoption of the agenda. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I will read the result of the vote now on the adoption of the agenda. So I read the results on the adoption of the agenda. So the total number of votes cast is 1,408,710,149 shares. From the same number of shares, representing 75.34% of the share capital. For yes, 1,408,651,805, 0 votes against, and abstentions 58,644 votes. The resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. Now, short information, because as the representative of the Supervisory Board, I would like to inform you about the report on the qualification procedure for the members of the Management Board because of the lapse of the term of office. So the written report has been submitted for the shareholders, and this qualification procedure was held in January and February 2020 for the following positions in the Management Board. This is the President of the Management Board and the Vice Presidents on financial matters, corporate matters, operating matters, innovation matters, and commercial matters. And as a result of that procedure, the Supervisory Board appointed to the Management Board the following members of the Management Board for the 11th term of office. Wojciech Dąbrowski as the President of the Management Board, Paweł Cioch as the Vice President on corporate matters, Paweł Śliwa as the Vice President for innovation matters, Paweł Strączyński as the Vice President for financial matters, and Ryszard Wasiłka as the Vice President for operating matters. And in accordance with what I have said, I would like to present the protocol from this procedure that was conducted by the Supervisory Board. It is, of course, for your viewing next to the attendance list. Thank you very much. And now we move to formal point, namely waiving the appointment of the returning committee, because we have the company which is handling our voting system. Any questions on this? If not, I open the vote on not electing the returning committee. Has everybody cast their votes? I understand that yes, so I would like to see the result of the vote. So we have The number of votes cast 1,108,710,149, with the same number of shares representing 75.34% of the share capital. For yes, 1,108,710. 1,408,710,531, and abstentions 10, 0 votes against. The resolution has been adopted. Now we move to points regarding the consideration and the adoption of the resolutions regarding the financial statements, unit financial statements and consolidated financial statements, and also the management board reports on the company's activities and the group. I would like to ask the representatives of the members of the management board. Mr. President Wojciech Dąbrowski, please take the floor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wojciech Dąbrowski, I am very glad to see you in person because before all the contacts with the shareholders were online, so I am very glad that we have this opportunity to meet. Last year showed how big challenges are in front of our company, so you've noticed that we've reviewed our assets and we made their values realistic. And now we are making order in the company, and we would like to concentrate on our basic activities that we are known for, what we are knowledgeable about, and we would like to specialize in the production of energy and heat and in this core area. So reviewing all the projects, we close these projects which from our perspective do not guarantee the proper return. So I would like to assure you that we are taking care of the value of the group. We would like to build strong entity that will be still the leader of the Polish power sector. Polish power, not only Polish power, but the European power, but we focus on Poland because we work in Poland, so faces big challenges, and we as the leader of the Polish power, we will play a significant role in this energy transformation, which we are communicating to the market and also to you as our investors. So I would like to assure you that we are doing our utmost so that the company in the future can bring the satisfactory return on the invested capital for our shareholders. And what we are doing every day, first of all, we are doing to build the company's value so that you can also receive the return on your investments through investing in our shares. Thank you very much, President Łączyński. Thank you. Good morning. So shortly I will present the most important numerical data regarding the financial statements, which is for the approval for 2019. Unit statement shows a loss 1,200,000,000 and 203 million loss on year-to-year basis. So the balance totals 50.4 million as compared to 51 million. Equity 37.5 billion versus 38.8 billion, and the cash flow shows negative balance cash flow of 14 million zloty versus minus over a billion last year. So these events that had a big influence on this level of the financial result, these are first of all, these are the write-offs for the financial fixed assets. We've conducted tests for the loss of value of the financial assets, which showed that it is important to create the revaluation write-off of 2 billion zloty 2 billion zloty, and the PGE for 800 million, and two small companies for about 50 million zloty, which gives us the total impact on the financial result of 2019 around 3 billion zloty. As for the consolidated financial statements, the results show this is the loss of 3 billion.
It's a loss this year as compared to the loss. The total assets 77.6 billion versus 75.6 last year. Equity 43.1 versus 47.8, and the cash flows plus 32 million 2019 versus negative 1.272 in the prior year. Ladies and gentlemen, what had the event that had the greatest impact on last year's result, i.e. the net loss of almost 4 billion zlotys, were the write-offs for tangible fixed assets and the reversal of a write-off in renewable energy. In total, we created write-offs, of course, after performing impairment tests for tangible fixed assets. We recognized an impairment of 7.2 billion zlotys. This, first of all, related to the compound of Bełchatów and the energy compound of Turów, having recognized, after including consolidation adjustments of almost 400 million zlotys, a total impact in conventional energy was of 7.5 billion zlotys. At the same time, we had to deal with a reversal of a write-off in renewable energies of almost 400 million zlotys. That was a wind farm which had a total impact of 7.129 billion zlotys, having, after the consideration of deferred tax, that was an impact of 5.5 billion zlotys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the intervention. Now, may I ask you for the resolution to be shown? That's the consideration of the individual financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2019 in IFRS, as required by the European Union. We have a draft resolution displayed. Are there any questions? Yes, please. Just a moment. Would you kindly use the mic and identify yourself? Godlewski, a shareholder. Have my written questions reached you, or shall I present them to the board? You have questions. Yes. To the financial statements, should we do it item by item, or do we do it together? Since the board is addressed, I understand. Do you have many questions? There are 16 questions. I understand that these questions should be presented at this moment, and the board will address them. They have been sent to but this is the general meeting. So please present the questions. Of course, the board, if it is capable of answering them during the general meeting, it will do so. However, it will, if it requires more time, it will address them in due course. Please present the course. In the case of a failure to present any questions during the general meeting on the 26th, you can present the question in writing pursuant to Article 428, paragraph 5 of the CCC. Shall I read them out loud, all of them? It's about the individual financial statements. Okay. Over the last 5 years, the company, in pursuing its strategy, it has lost over 60% of its value. Will the new strategy to be announced assume a departure from hard coal, respecting the will of Poles who wish to depart from hard coal by 2030? This is a financial question because it relates to the loss of the value and the strategy pursued until last year that assumed that hard coal was the hardest. You don't need to justify them. Just ask the questions to the individual financial statements. I have many questions to the management board's report, but as regards to financial statement, has there been a provision made for Brody in conjunction with the Gubin project, and if so, in which amount? This is mostly connected with the fact that in the Gubin Brody municipalities for the past 5 years you couldn't have pursued expansion projects because those areas were appropriated for the use of coal, and now the residents will be suing PGE. So the question is whether the board has provided for the compensation to the residents of Gubin Brody. That's the question. And also the question to the individual financial statements as well as consolidated financial statements. In 2019, the capex for renewables only represented about 2% of the group, and the PGE does not have a decarbonization plan. Which percentage of investments or capex will be included in 2020? And I will ask the rest of the questions as the report of the board is presented. Thank you very much. Some of those questions related to future years, future periods. I'm sorry. In the financial statement, you also present the forecasts and the prospects for the market development. Thank you very much. Will the board be addressing those questions at this moment? With your permission, we will provide an answer to you in writing. It will be much more streamlined. Yes, good. Thank you very much. So the answer will be provided in writing. Ladies and gentlemen, are there any other questions? Yes, please. Good afternoon, Wojciech Frank, shareholder. I'd like to ask why, as a shareholder, I have been tricked. Because in making the investment throughout last year, the company reported a profit. And what was the event? That a year later, after the profit, the company closed the year with a loss. Was it a fire? And so what has happened? It's a general question. It will be recurring. So who's trying to fool us? The shareholders. Thank you very much. Please don't use such words which can be qualified in the context of the penal code. We understand your emotions. Thank you very much. Will the board address this question? Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, the board is obligated to present in the financial statements the true and fair view of the company situation and the valuation of the assets. Since the report for 2020 was prepared by the current board, we can only say about the decisions that we have made. We have assumed for the impairment tests such paths which we have assumed to be the most probable ones. Those pricing paths with regard to energy prices, emission prices, primary sources of energy prices, and the paths assumed for the model subsequently confirmed by the auditor, certified auditor, who verified the financial statements. It showed such results and no other. And these are the results reported to you. The 7.5 billion in write-offs, in impairments, result from the pricing paths that the board, in its current composition, has decided that they are the right ones. And let me show you that as for the pricing paths in the marketplace are numerous, both with regard to the energy prices and the prime sources of energy. It depends, it's based on the estimations by the board that they present a given path to the auditor, and then the auditor recognizes or decides whether the assumptions on the paths are realistic or not. That's the only way we can address it. Thank you very much. Are there any further questions? If not, ladies and gentlemen, we have the draft agenda displayed. I'm opening the voting session by open ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mogli...
Has everybody been able to cast their votes? Have you exercised your voting rights? If so, can we have the results, please? Ladies and gentlemen, let me read out the results. A total of 1,404,479,441 and 49 votes have been cast, representing 75.3% of capital. In favor, 1,479,441, against 377,421, and there were 3,853,587 abstentions. Consequently, the resolution has been adopted. Now we have the next item on the agenda regarding the consideration of the consolidated financial statements of PGE SA for the financial year ended 31st of December 2019, in line with EU EFRS. We have the draft agenda displayed. I understand that the questions from the shareholders should be combined. Okay, so they have been submitted and the answer will be provided in writing. Are there any further questions on the consolidated financial statements? If not, then I'm opening the voting session on the current resolution. Have all the participants cast their votes? I understand you have. Thank you. Can I have the results, please? Ladies and gentlemen, let me read the results. A total of 1,408,710,449 valid votes have been cast from the same number of shares. In favor, 1,404,479,441. Against, 377,411. Abstentions 3,853,597. Consequently, the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much. Let's pass on to item 8, consideration of the Management Board's report on the activities of the company PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna, other PGE Capital Group for the year, and the adoption of the resolution concerning its approval. We have the draft resolution in front of us. Yes, any questions? I have 3 blocks of questions. One of them about the planned investments in Zlochew, concerning the review of the options and the rates of return. PGE, through its subsidiaries, tried to obtain a concession to extract lignite from Zlochew. And are you still considering the exploitation of lignite from that deposit, and if so, when can you expect? Secondly, what is the internal rate of return expected from Zlochew, and how would it impact the prospects of dividend payout for 2020 and the subsequent years? Can we understand that it would that the pursuit of that project would make the company further suspend the dividend payout, and the company has promised that it would resume the dividend payout? And the next question, it's about the impairment losses recognized in Bełchatów and Turów. What are the dates foreseen to switch off the units in Turów and Bełchatów? And question number 3, in the Management Board report for 2019, a lot of room has been devoted to CO2 emissions. However, no information is provided on the financial institutions, international financial institutions and banks, including banks, on the withdrawal from funding of hard coal-based projects, and how it has impacted the cost of capital, and whether the board assumes that the cost of capital will increase in 2020 and the subsequent years. It represents a risk that there are no projections connected with the cost of capital. Fourth question, analogically, Alliance has also published its decided on this. So how does the decision of 6 out of 8 major insurers that have historically been involved in insuring conventional power plants, how does it impact this decision on investments into lignite-based power stations, and how will it impact the results? It's important as much as the new CEO, Mr. Dąbrowski, has said to the press that the limitation of insuring impacts the necessity for a change, and he said that the only insurer is PZU that did not pose any requirements, and Lloyd's are imposing more and more strict limitations. And 5, this is actually a question that relates to the evaluation of the previous board by the current board, because Mr. Tarnowski signaled in May that he would publish the strategy in fall. It was not published, and it caused, I'm sorry, but such questions are a little bit unconnected. They are definitely connected, but the board is not there to evaluate the previous board. I'm just asking the board. Okay, the question has been asked. I understand. Because the way it looks is that last year, we're talking about last year, the board informed that the strategy would be updated, which is connected with the shareholders' trust in the company. It never happened. Now, the new board is assuring of the same strategy. So why should I expect that it would be different this year, since also last year it was meant or supposed to be published in fall? Will the strategy also include the attainment of CO2 neutrality by 2050, as well as the trajectory of reaching that neutrality, whether it will be measurable? And does PGE mean to obtain the deposit of Gubin? There's no information about this in the report, and also there's no information about the company that is supposed to obtain the concession for the deposit in Gubin 2. So is it one of the subsidiaries that should be eliminated and the cost should be reduced? 8. How does PGE mean to reconcile the exploitation of Złochew deposit with the green strategy? This is hard to reconcile. And now, a slightly more systemic question: how does PGE mean to persuade the European Commission to obtain a derogation from the framework directive, water directive, for the lignite mine in Złochew and in Turów? Because there is no mention of this, that it would be limited in such a short period of time. And now let me pass on to the compound of Turów. It has recently been quite problematic from the point of view of the group, its image and the approach of international international shareholders. PGE has obtained a derogation for 6 years, but that was last year. But this year, a new unit has been built that will start its work this year, and there's a new power contract this year. Please pass on to the question. It's actually the same question. How does PGE mean to persuade the European Commission to allow this unit and the lignite mine to function after 2027, since it is in an open conflict with the water directive? And when will you switch off the new water installations, other than those that have been installed? And I have 2 specific questions relating to Turów. The residents also indicate that as a result of the continuation of the exploitation of the deposit, those were the plans for 2019, thousands of residents of the Czech Republic will be deprived of potable water sources. The board will be made to pay compensations to the residents of the Czech Republic. And the last question, since connected with the exploitation of the lignite, it is supposed to disturb the natural compound of Zdrój. Will the monuments be transferred to a different place? Will it be the Opolno-Zdrój or Baden-Oberstdorf? And now the very last question in the report of the board for 2019, the board informed about obtaining the concession for the lignite mine by 2040. That is supposed to obtain it by 2034, or extend the concession for 6 years, which is more advantageous for the capital group and the shareholders this year. Thank you very much.
So I understand that the management board maintains its position that the answers will be provided in writing. Thank you very much indeed. Are there any further questions? This is the list of the questions that were read. So we have the draft of the resolution. I understand that we don't have further questions, so I declare that now is the time for the open vote.
Bardzo proszę. Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mieli możliwość?
Has everybody cast their votes? I understand that yes. So I would like to see the result of the vote. So I read the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast is 1,408,710,149 with the same number of shares, representing 75.34% of the share capital. For yes, 1,505,126,628 votes, against 58,654, and abstentions 3,525,167. So that is why the resolution has been adopted. I would like here to present the information that the company presented to the shareholders, the report for 2019. This is the report on non-financial information of the capital group, and also the report regarding the representation expenses, marketing expenses, legal expense, public relation expenses, and the social communication. So all the fees related to the management of the capital group for 2019. So now we move to point number 9. This is the adoption of the resolution concerning the allocation of net loss of the company. We have the draft of this resolution. Are there any questions, the participants? If not, I open the I declare that this is the open vote, and please cast your votes. Has everybody cast their votes? I understand that yes. So now I read the result of this vote. I read the results. So the total number of votes cast is 1,508,710,149, the same number of shares, which represents 75.34% of the share capital. For yes, 1,108,751,695, against 58,744, and abstentions 10. So the resolution has been adopted. Now we move to point number 10. This is the adoption of the resolution concerning the general meetings granting the consent to the manner of voting in the general meeting of the company PGE System SA on the matter of changes in the statutes of the company PGE System SA. The set manner of voting having been determined by the management board of the company PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna SA. So we have the draft of the resolution. Please introduce yourself. Wojciech Cichoński, the proxy of the shareholder. This is the trade union solidarity, encompassing also the company PGE Systemy. So I would like to ask the management board for the comments and explanation whether the amount of 500,000 zloty is the decrease of the provision or increase of the provision, and if yes, why these amounts are being changed. The next question is whether the state treasury holds any shares in the company PGE system? If not, why the Minister of the State Assets could have the right to appoint and recall the member of the Supervisory Board when such member of the Supervisory Board in front of the general meeting of shareholders in front of the mother company is not bearing any liability. So these are two questions. So yes, so President Trączyński, so the earlier threshold, as for which we are lowering to the 500,000 zloty, was 5 million zloty. Why this proposal? We would like, as the mother company, we would like to increase the control over PGE system. In our opinion, the amount of 5 million zloty spent without the consent of the Supervisory Board is the amount too significant, too high, and therefore the lowering, and that is why we lower this threshold to 500,000 zloty. This is the increase of the control by the Supervisory Board over the company. As for the second question of Mr. Chairman, Mr. Proxy. So this question is difficult for me to answer. For sure, I can say that 100% of the owner of PGE system is PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A. But in majority companies, I can say how it looks like in majority companies of which the owner is are other shareholders. The Minister of State Assets has also his representative. Thank you very much. Are there any further questions? If not, I open the vote. This is the open vote on the adoption of this resolution. Has everybody voted? If yes, I will read the result of the vote now. And I read the result. So the total number of votes cast is 1,108,710,149 valid votes. From the same number of shares, the share of the capital is still the same. For years 1,296,152,752 against 57,181,959. Abstentions 54,975,738. And the resolution has been adopted. Thank you very much for your vote. Now we move to point number 11. This is the adoption of the resolution concerning the adoption of the remuneration policy for the members of the Management Board and the Supervisory Board of the PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A. So this is the first policy, the first document. We have the draft of the resolution indicating the basis. Are there any questions? Yes, we do have a question to this point on the agenda. The proxy of the shareholder of the Solidarity Trade Unions of PGE Grupa Energetyczna S.A. And because of the adoption of this resolution, I would like to ask whether the Management Board of the present term of office will move this policy of course, in the right proportions with regard also to the subsidiaries companies of the group, and will be appropriately applicable to the members of the management boards and supervisory boards of the members of the companies of the group. And the second question to the supervisory board of the company, the supervisory board and the committees who are conducting any activities in order to control the application of any principles of remuneration in subsidiaries companies, the companies dependent on the mother companies. So do we have any comments from the management board now, or in writing? So, ladies and gentlemen, as for the first question, of course, this resolution, in accordance with the legal act on the public offer, we are obliged to adopt this resolution, because this resolution on the remuneration policy has to be taken once every 4 years. So today we adopt this policy in order to fulfill the obligation under the Act on the offer, and it is prepared in accordance with the binding legal act on the remuneration for persons performing the functions, managerial functions in the companies with the participation of the state treasury in accordance with the law on managing the public property. And the second question was to the supervisory board. So I am not in a position to answer this question. So yes, of course, I can answer this question that yes, of course, the supervisory board debates cyclically on the costs and also on the personal costs in the entire group. And this is included in the plan for the matters for which the supervisory board is responsible. We also take care of it, and this is subject also analysis. So yes, definitely I confirm. Proxy of the shareholders, this is Solidarity Movement Trade Union, so I did not receive the answer to the question, because I asked whether this remuneration policy will also be applicable in all the structures of the company, because as the shareholders we know that it was at the discretion as for the determination of the remuneration in the subsidiary companies dependent on PGE SA, and if we know what situation we live in and how difficult the next years will be, so as shareholders we present such necessity to work out the proper remuneration policy in the companies of the capital group, entire capital group, so that we don't have these pathologies that we know about, and the management and the supervisory board also knows. So that is why we should strive for uniformity in terms of the principles for determining remuneration for the members of the supervisory boards in the entire capital group. Thank you very much. So we have a comment from Mr. President. So the way of remunerating the management boards and supervisory boards of the companies in which the shareholder is PGE, Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A., this is, as the chairwoman has mentioned, always it is consulted, these principles are consulted and presented to the supervisory board, and all the remuneration principles are compliant with the remuneration principles in line with the legal act. So it's not at the discretion, so because the legal act precisely defines the so-called brackets and also the multiplication of the remuneration depending on the fulfillment of criteria by the company, and and on the amount of this remuneration, and any deviations require the consent of the supervisory authority. The management board of PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A. is not deciding independently. All the remuneration that are binding in PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna are remunerations resulting from the legal act and always consulted with or any exceptions are always consulted and agreed with the supervisory board. Thank you. So I would like also to inform you from the notary who read the resolutions and puts these resolutions in the protocol. Of course, this policy is the attachment to the resolution, to the opinion of the supervisory board. In paragraph 6 of this policy, in section 4, there is a spelling error. This is a technical issue. Instead of OS, letter S is added. So I think that this is more a technical issue. So I am including in my protocol without this spelling error. So it should be corrected. So we have the draft of the resolution if there are no questions. So I declare that this is the open vote. Has everybody voted, cast their votes? I understand that yes. So I will
Wyniki oddane.
result. So there were 1,508,017,149 valid votes from the same number of shares representing 75.34% of the share capital. For yes, so 1,093,543,020. Against 114,501,047, abstentions 666,382. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. So now we move to point number 12. This is the block of secret votes regarding the discharge of the members of the management board and supervisory board. So we can see the draft of the first resolution from the supervisor. It starts from the supervisory board, and I will read only the names of the persons in sequence. So we have the first draft. Are there any questions on this draft? It refers to Anna Kowalik. If not, I open the secret vote on this.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mogli?
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, can we please have the results? Let me read out the results. A total of 1,408,710,449 votes of the same number of casts, representing 75.34%. In favor, 1,371,308,904, against 33 3,876,758. Abstentions 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. I'm sorry, the speaker is not using the mic. We cannot hear him. Please vote that the shareholder Solidarity Trade Union of PGE, Polska Grupa Energetyczna, has voted against. This means that, but understand that you have disclosed the vote on behalf of your shareholders. So what? The question is, so shall I take it in the minutes that you declare that you have voted against, or do you object to this resolution being taken, or that you have basically? Yes, can I ask you, because I need to take the name, but which? It's just for information, for the sake of information. Thank you. Can I only have your personal data, please?
Pan notariusz spisuje tutaj dane.
The notary is taking the gentleman's data. The resolution has been adopted. Can we have the draft of the next resolution, please? Having displayed the next. Let's wait.
Pan głosował przeciw uchwale i pan...
Tak, pan oświadczył, pan akcjonariusz oświadczył, znaczy przedstawiciel, że głosował przeciwko, czyli dobrowolnie ujawnił swój głos.
So the gentleman as a representative has declared that he has voted against, so he has voluntarily disclosed the way he has voted.
Dobrze, będzie tak, że w tym miejscu, już jak pani oświadczyła, że została podjęta, że w tym miejscu pan Wojciech Cichoński oświadczył, że jako pełnomocnik akcjonariusza organizacja międzyzakładowa NSZZ Solidarność numer 2897 PG Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A. Głosował przeciw podjęciu tej uchwały, tak?
Dobrze.
Bo tutaj wie pan, to jest jeszcze kwestia... Okay, dobrze. Dobrze.
Państwa będzie. Dziękuję bardzo. Proszę Państwa...
Thank you very much. Now the next draft agenda is on Mr. Artur Składanek. I understand that there are no questions. I don't hear or see any. I'm opening the voting session. Of course, we're in the block of votes by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mogli oddać swój głos?
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, can we please have the results? A total of 1,408,710,499 valid votes have been cast of the same number of shares. percentage of the share capital has not changed. 75.34% of the share capital in favor of 1,371,350,221 against 33,835,161 and abstentions 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. Yes, please. As in the previous vote, Mr. Sikorski has declared that as a representative of the shareholder of Solidarity, he has voted against. Thank you. Can we have the next draft agenda, the draft resolution? It's about Mr. Grzegorz Kuczynski. If there are no questions, I'm opening the voting session by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mieli możliwość oddania głosu? Jeżeli
Has everybody been able to cast their votes? If so, can we please have the result? A total of 1,408,710,490 valid votes have been cast of the same number of shares. The percentage of the share capital has not changed. In favor of 1,371,350,221 against 33,855,161. Abstention 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. The proxy of the shareholder, Solidarity, please vote that we have voted against the resolution. Note has been taken. Thank you very much. The same passage as before. Now let's pass on to the draft resolution on Ms. Janina Gos. Can we please? Are there any questions? If not, then I'm opening the voting session by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mogli oddać swój głos?
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, let me read out the results. A total of 1,408,710,490 valid votes have been cast of the same number of votes. The share capital unchanged. In favor, 1,371,350,221 against 33,835,161 and abstentions 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. The proxy has the same. Let's just confirm. Can we now have the next draft resolution on Mr. Mieczysław Sawarin? And if there are no further questions, I'm opening the voting session.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mogli oddać swój głos? Jeżeli tak, proszę o minutę.
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, let's have the results. A total of 1,408,710,449 valid votes have been cast of the same number of votes, the same proportion of share capital as before. In favor, 1,371,350,221. Against, 33,835,161. Abstentions, 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. Please vote that Solidarity Trade Union has voted against. The same passage. Yes. So Mr. Cichański has declared that as a proxy he has cast his vote, and so on and so forth. He has voted against taking the resolution, adopting the resolution. I understand that we can repeat the formula. All right. Only whenever I say so. Okay. Can we have the next draft resolution? It's about Mr. Tomasz Hapunowicz. Any questions? If not, I'm opening the voting session.
Czy wszyscy akcjonariusze, pełnomocnicy
Have all the shareholders been able to cast their votes? If so, can we have the results? A total of 1,408,710,449 valid votes have been cast of the same number of shares. The capital proportion unchanged. In favor, 1,371,350,221. Against, 33,835,161. And abstentions, 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. I'd like to vote that as the proxy of TU Solidarity, I have voted against. Thank you very much. And now can we have a draft resolution on Mr. Jerzy Sawicki? Any questions? If not, I'm opening the voting session by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mieli możliwość?
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, can we please have the results? A total of 1,408,710,449 valid votes of the same number of shares. The proportion of share capital unchanged. In favor, 1,371,350,221. Against, 33,835,161. And abstentions, 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. The proxy can have a say. Please take note in the minutes that as the proxy of TU Solidarity, we have voted against. And the last, thank you very much, and the last draft resolution on Mr. Radosław Winiarski. If there are no questions, I'm opening the voting session by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mieli możliwość oddania głosu?
Have all the participants been able to cast their votes? If so, Can I please have the results? A total of 1,408,710,449 valid votes have been cast with the same number of votes. The share of the share capital unchanged. In favor, 1,371,350,221. Against, 33,835,161. Abstentions, 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. Over to the proxy. I'd like to ask you to note that as a representative of TU Solidarity, we have voted against the resolution. Thank you very much. Now let's pass on to the block of resolutions on granting discharge to or vote of acknowledgement of the fulfillment of duties to the members of the supervisory board. The first resolution is on Mr. Henryk Baranowski. Any questions? If not, then I'm opening the voting session by secret ballot.
Czy wszyscy uczestnicy mieli możliwość?
Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I will read the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast 1,408,710,149. The same number of shares, 75.34% of the capital. For yes, 1,371,360,221. Against, 33,135,161. Abstentions, 3,525,067. Yes, the resolution has been adopted. So this is again the proxy of the Solidarity Trade Union movement. I would like to take a note of my objection as for the discharge from Mr. Baranowski. The next draft resolution regarding Wojciech Kowalczyk. Are there any questions? If not, I order the secret vote on this discharge. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I need the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast is 1,408,710,149. The same number of shares with the same share in the share capital. For yes, 1,071,050,221. Abstentions, 33,035,161. And these were the votes against, and then abstentions, 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted. And now the floor is given to the proxy. So the proxy of the Solidarity Trade Union, I would like to ask for taking a note that we voted against this discharge for Mr. Kowalczyk. So I would like only to clarify this, that you, as the proxy of the Solidarity Trade Unions, you voted against. So it means that we voted against, and me being the representative of the Solidarity Trade Union, and I am the sole representative of Solidarity Trade Union. The next resolution refers to Marek Pastuszko, to his discharge, and if there are no comments, we open this secret vote now. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I would like now to read the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast 1,108,710,149. For yes, 1,071,050,021. Against 33,035,161, and abstentions 3,525,067. So I would like to confirm that this resolution has been adopted. So also the proxy of the Solidarity Trade Union asks for taking a note that in case of this resolution, the union voted against. The next draft resolution regarding Paweł Śliwa. I can't see any comments. I open the secret vote on this discharge. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I would like to read the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast is 1,408,710,149 with the same number of shares, the same share in the share capital. For yes, 1,071,350,321 against 33,035,051. Abstentions 3,525,077. So thank you very much. This resolution has been adopted. Now the next draft resolution. Now the draft resolution for Ryszard Wasiłko. Are there any questions? If not, I open the secret vote on this discharge. Has everybody cast their votes? I understand that yes, and I will read the result now. So the total number of votes is 1,108,710,149 of the valid votes with the same number of shares, the same share in the share capital. For yes, 1,371,350,321 against 33,035,061, and abstentions 3,525,067. The resolution has been adopted. And now I will read the draft resolution regarding Emil Wojtowicz. So I understand there are no comments, and I open now the vote. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, I will now read the result of the vote. So the total number of votes cast is 1,108,710,149 valid votes with the same number of shares, the same share in the share capital. For yes, 1,371,350,221 against 33,835,161, and abstentions 3,525,067. Thank you very much. The resolution has been adopted, but now the proxy is taking the floor. So we as a Solidarity Trade Union, we voted against this resolution, and I would like to ask you for taking a note of it. And we closed at this moment this block of vote regarding the discharges. I would like to congratulate the members of the Management Board, the members of the Supervisory Board for being granted the discharges. And now we move to point regarding 13th point regarding the adoption of the resolution concerning changes in the company's statutes. So the draft of the resolution is on the screen. Do you have any questions to this draft? If not, I open the vote on this resolution. So this is open vote. Has everybody cast their votes? If yes, so now I will read the result of the vote. So we have here the qualified majority, so the total number of votes was 1,408,710,149 with the same number of shares. So the share of the capital has not changed. For yes, 1,174,149,468, which represent 90.44% of the share capital. Of course, this is the required qualified majority. Against 19,876,612, and abstentions 114,784,369. So I would like to confirm that this resolution has been adopted. And we reached the end of the agenda. The point number 14 is the closing of the meeting, and due to the fact that we exhausted the agenda of today's general meeting of shareholders of PGE Polska Grupa Energetyczna S.A., I close this debate, and thank you very much for your coming and participation, and to all the participants and the shareholders, the proxies, and also the members of the management board, to all of you. Thank you very much, and see you soon.